Welcome back to our channel. This is Israel Life and this is Real Life. In today's video, we are going to be making a striped crochet scarf. The inspiration I got for this video is from a channel named Kayla, and I'll have her video linked down in the description below. So you're going to need 3 colors for this project. The base color, the color that the stripes are going to be, and then the actual color for the outline. And you will also need a 6.5mm hook. So, to start out, you're going to make a slip knot. And then you're going to chain 175 chains. Once you've chained those 2 additional chains, you're going to half double crochet for the whole row. So you're going to skip 2 chains, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook, push it through that second chain, pull it through, wrap around the yarn again, and then push it through those 3 loops. And that's a half double crochet. And you're just going to keep doing that for the whole row. And then showing it to you one more time. Yarning around, pushing it through the loop, yarn around again, you'll have 3 on the hook, and then pull it through one more time. And that's your half double crochet. And then once you've gotten to the end of the row, you're going to half double crochet into that last loop, just like you were doing before. And then to start the new row, you're going to chain 2. Turn your work. And we're going to continue to half double crochet, but now we're going to make sure that we're going into the back loop only. Continue to half double crochet through the back loops only throughout the whole row. And just keep going until the row is finished. And then once you get to the end of the row, you're going to half double crochet, but this time through both loops, but only on the end chain. And that is a full row completed. And then just like last time, you're going to chain 2, start the new row, and you're going to continue this process. And you're going to continue doing this for a total of 6 rows of half double crochet. Once you've completed those 6 rows, you're going to cut off your yarn, and then you're going to add a new color. You're going to chain 2 once more, and you're going to continue the process of half double crocheting into the back loop. And then once you finish those 6 rows of the second color, you're going to do the same thing, cut off the yarn and add the first color, and you're just going to continue what you were doing another 6 rows of the half double crochet into the back loops. Don't forget to chain 2 at the beginning of each row. And actually you're going to do 5 rows of the first color to make up for the row of chains in the beginning to balance out the length of the stripes. So 5 rows of the first color, and once you finish that, you're going to do 6 rows of the second color, and then lastly an additional 6 rows of the first color. So altogether it should be 3 stripes that are the first color, and then 2 stripes that are the second color. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make the border around the scarf with the third color of choice. For me, I used a darker pink to kind of contrast it. And basically you're going to single crochet into each stitch, just going up until the end of the row. Once you get to the end of the row, you're going to crochet 1, turn your work, and then continue to half double crochet for a total of 20 rows. And now you're going to start cleaning up your work just a little bit, because you're going to be single crocheting until the stitches basically all the way around the scarf. And you want to make sure that none of the pieces of yarn that are hanging out are going to get in the way. So any pieces that might be in the way of the edges of the scarf, just make sure you yarn those in to the scarf and just cut them off like I'm doing here. So now that I've finished the 20 rows of the third color, basically I'm going to single crochet down the edges, and I'm just going to keep going till I get to the other side of the scarf. And as you saw there were some more pieces that were hanging out, so I also just yarned those into the scarf, hit them in each color, and make sure that when you do yarn each color into its correct color, so if it's like a dark pink strand, yarn that into the dark pink strand, or the lighter pink strand, yarn it into the lighter pink strand, just to make sure that it hides well and it doesn't look out of place. And for the row of the single crochet, you want to make sure that you leave the end stitch untouched. You don't want to half double crochet into it, because you're going to use that as the stitch that you go into when you're going around the border. Because if you go over that one and continue to make the border around it, it's going to look a little chunky at the end. So you're going to leave that one undone. And then once you actually make the border around that with that single color, that's when you're going to go into that last stitch. So leave one stitch of single crochet undone as you continue your rows, so that you can make the border look nice. And then you just continue going with your 20 rows of half double crochet into both loops. As you can see on the edges here, it's kind of like a block, and then like the two edge pieces look like they're missing like probably a single row of crochet. You do that intentionally. basically you're going to go to the last stitch of your border. You're going to reattach your yarn and then continue to single crochet into the rest of the stitches. And finish making the border around the scarf. And then you're just going to keep going all the way around the scarf, just single crocheting into both loops to make a nice neat border around the whole entire scarf. So as you can see here, I made it to the end of the border, and now I'm just tying up all the loose ends and then cutting them off. And just like that, technically you could be done here. The scarf is pretty much finished. All the pieces are cut off, all the rows are done, and you could just call it a day right here, but I wanted to add fringe to mine. So now that we're at the part where you actually make the tassel, what you're going to do is you're going to cut a single strand of yarn and you're going to use that as your demo piece. You're going to keep using that to cut more pieces of yarn to the exact same length as the original piece of yarn, and you're going to do that till you have 4 pieces of yarn. Once you have those 4 pieces that are just about the same length, you're going to fold them in half, put your hook through the loop of the scarf, and then you're going to pull the pieces through the loop. And you're going to leave a good enough gap that you can fit your fingers through to pull the hanging strands, just so you can get a nice tight knot. And that is how you make your tassel. So you can make it thicker, you can make it smaller, you can add more, or just keep it the same amount that I did. That was just a demo piece, but I did end up using the 3 colors that I used to actually make the scarf. and I did 3 of each strand. So basically add 3 strands of each color that you used and cut them all to the same size, and you're going to turn them into one single tassel, and you're going to cut them all to a kind of a short-ish length, like medium-ish length. And that's what it looks like when it's done and you finished all of them throughout the whole row. And then basically you're just going to repeat the same process on the other side of the scarf, and that's pretty much it. And that is the completed scarf. And this is what it looks like when it's on my mannequin head. And these are the different styles and variations that you can try on. As you can see, it's very versatile. Alright, that's pretty much it. You finished the whole scarf. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.